So how is someone meant to balance working full time with constantly learning while getting enough sleep, while exercising, taking care of your body and your health, and then spending time with your loved ones, and then having free time for you, for your hobbies? And then let's not even get into making time to ruffle sheets in the bedroom. Is all of this even possible, beloved? Yes, it is. Look around you, beloveds. The world is built on focus. Not motivation, not talent, not vibes, just focus. So the skyscrapers, right? Like the deals, the wealth, it's all about the ability to hold a thought and execute the structure. But right now, beloveds, most people are trying to build a dynasty on a rented brain. So picture this, right? Picture a skyline at night, right? Lights in the penthouse office still on. Somewhere up there, a team is arguing over a term sheet, right? Redoing a model, adjusting one paragraph in the contract that will move millions, potentially billions, right? That building didn't start as just a building, right? It started as one person pacing in a small little office or an apartment, staring at a blank notepad, right? An idea that they just couldn't shake. It kept them up at night, beloveds. Now, the question is, what if we built this right here? That's what they were asking themselves, right? From there, everything was about focus, right? Focus to run the numbers. When it was easier to scroll, focus to sit in boring meetings and explain their vision for the umpteenth time, right? Focus to deal with rejection, zoning laws, delays, but they still showed up, beloveds. The world rewards people who can hold a thought steady enough while everything around them tries to pull it apart. See, most people's minds are weak, right? It wants comfort. It wants distraction. It craves distraction, right? But if you can control your mind, you can control your process, beloved. If you can focus, like your life depends on it, because in most cases it actually does, then you become unfucking stoppable. See, the world doesn't reward potential, beloved. It rewards execution. And execution requires focus that, let's just be honest, 99% of people just don't have, beloved, because they're just too weak-minded to develop it, right? So you see skyscrapers, right? What you're really looking at is successful focus, right? In the physical form, right? So the world runs on focus. And I got to talk about this. Caffeine is rinsing your brain, beloveds. You think that coffee is making you strong, right? You think that energy drink is your secret weapon. It's just bullshit. So every morning you wake up, you reach for that cup like a junkie, right? Like a junkie reaching for their fix. You convince yourself that a cup of Joe is helping you lock in and helping you be energized and helping you stay focused, right? But ask yourself, is it really helping you, beloved? Or is it just masking how dependent you become, right? So your body is screaming, tired. Instead of addressing the real problem, your lack of discipline, your trash sleep habits, your weak mindset, you're pouring chemicals down your throat to silence it, beloveds. That caffeine isn't unlocking some unhidden potential that you just had, beloved. It's actually a crutch, and it's rinsing your focus instead of owning it, right? And guess what happens when the lease is up? You crash. So you're back to being the same undisciplined person that you were before. But now you're just more dependent, right? More enslaved. So caffeine isn't the do-it-all supplement, right? I don't even call it a supplement, a stimulant, right? It's the emergency stimulant, right? It's like a cheap sprint. It empties the tank faster than it fills it. I'm here to tell you, beloveds, you are leaving the benefits of the most profound tool for long-term focus, long-term cognitive dominance on the table. And I'm talking about lion's mane mushroom. So this isn't like a quick sprint, like you just pop it, it's a limitless pill, you automatically feel like you can just take on the world. It's not about that, beloveds. This is about building the infrastructure. This is an upgrade to the CEO's office that shifts you from chasing cheap energy to generating that unshakable, internal, fucking unstoppable focus, right? So I'm going to go over a few things, beloved, and teach you the science and show you how to use this builder to access deep focus and sustain flow, beloveds. Because in 2026, listen, I know we just left the great lock-in in 2025, beloveds, but 2026, this is really a time to get on your shit, right? Like everything that you've been saying that you've been wanting to do and you've been having these thoughts in your mind and you just don't know how to lock in and get it done, beloveds, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to help you lock in today, beloveds. So stay locked in. Like I said, this is about owning your structure. So to understand the power of lion's mane, beloved, you have to understand the wiring of your own mind, right? So caffeine. So caffeine is like a high interest loan on your body, right? Well, basically on your energy. So lion's mane is the equity investment in your physical structure. So caffeine is you being soft, beloveds. I'm just gonna say because I don't see the hype in caffeine, but some people just swear by it, right? So caffeine is you being dependent, right? It's you saying, I need help to do what I should be able to do naturally, right? But you've been destroying your baseline, haven't you? Look at you, being a little dependent, beloved. You can't even function without that chemical crutch. Look at you. Before you even get your day, before you even talk to the man upstairs, you got to go downstairs and make a cup of joe, beloveds. I'm just sorry. I ain't going. I can't honor it. But let's get back on track. So lion's mane is different. That's you investing in your hardware, beloveds, not just boosting the software, right? So that's you saying, I want to build a machine that doesn't need the stimulant band-aid. You're growing new pathways, beloved. You're strengthening the fortress of your mind from the ground up. But the problem with stimulants is like coffee and caffeine and things like that, and energy drinks, like they force more output from the same old wiring, right? So they squeeze performance by spiking cortisol and dopamine, right? So it's a short-term solution that leaves you with the crash feeling dependent. But lion's mane, beloved, like this is where nerve growth factor comes in, right? So this is the growth that signals your neurons to sprout new branches, right? And to multiply the density of your network. So more lanes equals better traffic, beloveds. So think of your thoughts as traffic, right? Like you got a million thoughts going through your head every day, right? Every second, right? So when you're relying on stimulants, you got one lane. Everything is jammed up. So lion's mane is building new dendrites, right? AKA new connections, right? That means more lanes, better traffic flow. Learning gets stickier, right? Focus extends, it stretches out, and recall speeds up. So you're not wrestling your brain every 5 to 6 minutes, right? The network carries you. Real talk, beloved. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, right? I got a million things going on at any given day, right? My brain used to feel like it had like 40 fucking tabs open, and at least three of them were playing music, right? On any given day, I'm running my supplement business, I'm creating content, I'm answering, emails from customers, managing inventory. I got to think about creatives. I got to think about ads. Like, then I'm flipping over to building a wellness app, right? So I'm thinking about product. I'm thinking about user interface, user experience. I'm thinking about fundraising, like all of this shit in like one day, right? Think about all what I just named in one day. It's a lot of context switching. And after a while, beloved, I just started noticing like, damn, I can get things done, but it felt like I was dragging my brain through the mud, right? Like foggy in the morning, irritable in the afternoon. Like people calling me, just like, man, what, man? What do you want, man? Like I wasn't myself, beloved. It's like I'm scrolling more than I'm thinking that's going to help me, tap into my creative juices. But that's before I found myself, beloved, right? That's before I started taking lines. And it wasn't fireworks. I'm not, like I said in the beginning, this is not about an instant limitless pill that you just pop and you pop the molly. I'm sweating. Woo! It's not like that, beloved. It's more like slowly turning down the background noise in my head, right? Like you're able to center in on what's more important, right? You're able to lock in and be more in the moment. It's almost like my emotional bandwidth came back online, right? Like I'm aware, right? I'm more aware, but I'm more centered too. So my brain felt clear, my emotions felt less explosive, right? And that's what it's really about. You know what I'm saying? Like when you working on so many different things in this life, listen, modern life don't give us no advantage on focus and concentration. So we got to do all that we can do to make sure our focus is where it should be on the most important things, right? And that leads me to my next point. That's what hormones, right? The hormone piece comes in. So if I had to describe like the felt experience behind it, it's like less static in my mind, right? And less mental lag when switching from one task to another, right? And the ability to land on a thought and actually stay there, right? So more emotional room to respond instead of react. So it's more like, I've been working in this messy room for years, right? Like my brain is just, this messy room, right? One day you walk in and all of a sudden shit is just cleaned up. Same furniture, same you, just less clutter between you and what you're trying to do. Now let's discuss cognitive sovereignty, beloveds. So like I just said, the modern world, they don't do us any favors, right? The world is loud on purpose, right? Your attention is currency and everybody's trying to tap it in, beloveds. They trying to spend it for you. Social media apps, like they want you to scroll. Brands want your impulse, right? Like drama wants your reaction. Stress wants your whole nervous system, right? But cognitive sovereignty is when you stop being a tenant in your own brain, in your own head. You start acting like the landlord, beloveds. You decide what gets to stay and what doesn't. You decide what gets evicted. You decide what gets built next. Focus, memory, creativity, right? Like emotional regulation. Like that's your mental real estate portfolio. And here's the thing. You can't own what your brain can't reliably hold. That's where line mains quality comes in, beloveds. So think of sovereignty in layers, right? So like I said, like focus, clarity, right? Like you can see what you want without the mental fog. And then continuity, like so recall. So can you stay with that thought without it getting yanked away from you? And then capacity, beloveds. Can your brain manage, right? Can your brain be a project manager, right? Can your brain hold multiple moving pieces without collapsing into being overwhelmed, right? So lion's mane shows up in that second and third layer. Now, I want to go back to hormones, right? So, like I just said, project manager, like your brain is like a project manager, right? So let's break this down. So you don't just focus, beloved. Like our brains just don't say, okay, well, you have 30 things going on. This is the one that you need to focus on, right? Like your body has to let you focus, right? And hormones are the crew behind the scenes to help you do that. So dopamine, right? So this is like the aim hormone, if you will. So it's what locks the target in your mind, right? That building, right? That business, that body, that relationship, right? So no dopamine, you don't care enough to chase. Too much of it, you're chasing a million things at once. You never finish anything. And then adrenaline. So think of adrenaline as the spotlight hormone, right? So they narrow your attention, right? So this is what matters right now in the right amount, right? They're why you can lock in for a couple hours and not notice time flying. But in the wrong amount, it's anxiety, it's overthinking, it's I can't handle this, it's I'm spiraling out of control. And then cortisol, right? So as you all know, cortisol is a stress hormone. In short bursts, it's fire, right? That's how you finish a pitch deck the night before a meeting. But chronic cortisol, right? Now you're tired, you're kind of distracted, you're scrolling because your brain is trying to escape your own life, right? And then testosterone and estrogen. So this is you walking in your purpose. This is confidence. This is drive. This is motivation. This is ambition, right? And this is how you're able to process risk and reward, right? When it's balanced, you can commit, you can lead, and you can follow through on what you need to do. But when it's out of balance, right? You either don't start anything, you don't initiate anything, or things just start to blow up, right? Then you get impatient, you get frustrated. It's not what you want. Insulin. So insulin and let's combine them. So insulin and the thyroid, right? So they set your energy floor. So if your blood sugar is crashing and your thyroid is, dragging, it's not discipline, beloveds. You're missing, right? Your brain is literally underpowered, right? It's being under fuel, right? So you're trying to build a skyscraper on a 2% battery. So lion's mane isn't a hormone. It's not a limitless pill. It doesn't jack up testosterone or, flood you with anything like that. Instead, it supports the system that hormones talk to the most, your brain and your nervous system, right? Here's the chain reaction, beloveds. A better supported, wired brain can regulate stress more effectively. That means your cortisol spikes don't have to turn into all day being overwhelmed, right? Feeling super anxious. When your stress response calms down, your hormonal network, right? Your sex hormones, your progesterone, your estrogen, your testosterone, right? Like your thyroid, your insulin, they can operate in a more balanced rhythm instead of a fight or flight all day. Better wiring plus a calmer baseline equals your dopamine doesn't have to chase chaos to feel present, to feel alive, beloveds. You can get satisfaction from focused work, reading a book, learning, deep thinking again, right? Instead of scrolling on social media all day, right? So lion's mane helps the hardware, right? The neurons, the connections, the brain structure. which gives your hormones a more stable operating system to talk to. The result, your emotions have room, beloved. Your focus has runway. Your thoughts stop feeling like they're buffering or they're glitching. That, my beloveds, is cognitive sovereignty. Having control, having ownership over your mind, right? So when you see someone can sit down, they can lock in, and they can just execute day after day after day, you're not just seeing work ethic, beloved. Like you're seeing a nervous system that's regulated and trained enough and a hormone profile that's stable enough to hold a thought without melting down. But I gotta say this, lion's mane requires consistency over mega doses, beloved. That nerve growth factor, that process takes weeks. You need to show up every morning, beloveds, and honor the contract. This is how you take your mind from a low value slot machine to a fucking high powered searchlight. If you are heavily reliant on caffeine, because I know some of y'all are just dope fiends to the caffeine, beloveds, consider this. Consider giving yourself maybe like a wash day, right? Like, 1 day off per week, right? Or, one full week off per every 2 months or so, right? Like this keeps your system sensitive to any tool, even with lion's mane. Like I don't suggest you just take lion's mane every day for the rest of your life. Like I believe in everything in cycles, beloved, because you never want to get hooked on anything, right? You never want to become dependent on anything, even though lion's mane is not that type of supplement, right? Or at least a high quality lion's mane isn't that type of supplement, right? But the thing is, like, you want to ensure like maximum effectiveness when you return to anything, right? When you return to lion's mane, when you return to caffeine, like you want it to be optional, right? Owning your mind in a distracted world is the key to getting what you want out of life, beloveds. We live in a time where apps are designed, right? Like they have meetings, right? Like board meetings. They are designed to hijack your life, hijack your dopamine, right? Chronic stress keeps your cortisol humming. Sleep is trash. Nutrition is mid. And then we wonder why we can't think straight, beloveds. Cognitive sovereignty is not, I never get distracted because you're human, right? It's, I built my brain and biology in a way that supports my focus, my creativity, and my calm. Even in the middle of fucking chaos, I'm still a fucking beast, dog. Like, that's what it's about. So, with that being said, beloveds, that's my time. To the next time, man. I hope that everything that we talked about today, man, you guys take it, run with it, go build a business, go get that relationship, go learn that new skill, whatever it is, beloved. Be sure to get your lion's mane in the description below, everybody'sjuice.com. And then also tap in with the CEO blueprint, beloved. It's the flow state blueprint. That's also in the description as well. I want the best for y'all, beloveds. 2026. Listen, this ain't no motivation speech. This is a fucking get to it, dog. Whatever you want to do, get the fuck to it, man. I love y'all. God bless. And let's have a great year, beloveds. Come on.